start with the big picture and work my way in. I wanted to share with you what I do as a stay-at-home mom that homeschools. And it's going to look different for each household depending on what you decide to do in your household. So let's just get started in the video and I'll show you what I do. So I broke this down into categories so I can show you what I do inside of each section within my lifestyle basically. So the very first thing that I do is meal plan for the week. And this can take up about 1 to 2 hours of my time. I do it on Sundays. And what I like to do is sit down with a blank sheet of paper and I write down for breakfast, lunch, dinner, and for snacks what I'm going to be meal planning for the entire 7 days until that Saturday. Well, 6 days, I guess 6 days until that Saturday. What I do is when I plan my breakfast, lunch, and dinner for the week, I make sure I have everyone in my household accounted for what they want. I ask them if there's anything that they need, anything that they want for that week specific for a meal, and then I take out my recipe book, and that's when I would pull from that what recipes I'm going to be doing for dinner and sometimes for breakfast. I have some breakfast meal plans in there and some dessert things and stuff like that. So I add that into my meal plan for the week. Once I created my meal plan, and it looks like this, then what I do is I create my grocery list from the menu and add any toiletries or cleaning products that I need to add into that grocery list. And I limit how many times I go to the grocery store by doing this only once a week. And this saves so much time. So if you're trying to be more productive in your time, it is a suggestion to just do once a week meal planning for the entire week. And then you get all your grocery shopping and everything done for that entire trip. So you can go in person or you can do what I do grocery shopping online for pickup. And I go to my local grocery store and I have everything, I do everything online and I just fill out what I need for that week. I make sure I go through my recipe book and get all of the ingredients. If I need to get cherry tomatoes and parsley, and I make my own bread, so if I have to get some more active dry yeast or some more bread flour, that's the time to fill in for everything that you need, all the nitty and gritty, salt, pepper, everything like that, so you don't forget anything. And you double check your list. This is why it takes me about 1 to 2 hours, but I only do this once a week. And it saves so much time because I don't have to go to the grocery store every couple of days. And you just keep your things preserved so that they stay fresh in certain containers and you're good to go. Now appointments, those take about 30 minutes for me to schedule for the week. So I put everything in my calendar. So I usually know what's going to happen that week ahead of time because I plan things ahead of time. So I'll know what appointments I have to go to, and what times they have to be, what days they're on, how long they're going to take. I account for travel time and things like that. So when I create my schedule, and it looks like this, so when I create this schedule, what I do is I make sure I account for travel time and things like that so that I am using the best of my time to the best of my ability. I add any scheduled appointments or personal events and fill them into my calendar. Invitations from like birthday parties, there's some other events that we got invited to recently that are coming up. I would just take the invitations and I would take them for that week and just put them into the calendar for when they have to be. That would be the time to RSVP to those appointments and to those events, birthday parties, whatever's happening. And I also make sure I block out time on my calendar to travel to those places. So if I know it's an hour away, I would block out time on my time schedule to travel to it and stuff like that. I do a time schedule for myself. However, for my kids, when it comes to homeschooling, I do use a block schedule. And I'll show you guys what that looks like. It looks a little bit different than what my schedule looks like, and it works better for the kids because sometimes things can take 20 minutes, 30 minutes, 45 minutes, or just 10 minutes, and it's easier to just do it that way in case like I have to use the bathroom or whatever, if something happens last minute, they can just do what they got to do, and we are not really thrown off schedule too much because I tried a time schedule with them before and it just didn't work. So a block schedule works for us, and a time schedule works good for my own personal time when I'm not homeschooling. So Monday rolls around, and what I like to do is I take that morning time, the first hour that place is open, usually between 9 and 10 o'clock, and I would write down a list of, before the first hour, I would write down a list of all the places I have to call to schedule appointments, if that's for dental cleanings, it's asked to see your doctor, if it's for any other appointments you have to do, car appointments, things like that, anything you have to get situated that you would need to schedule an appointment for, that's the time to make the phone calls that Monday morning, the first hour. You make the phone calls, you schedule the appointments for that week or the upcoming weeks, and you block off that time for traveling and for being at the appointment. Ask them how long the appointment's going to take. If they don't know, usually about 45 minutes to an hour is a good estimate for a time frame for an appointment. So you can just add that into your schedule as well. Now on to cleaning. Now when it comes to cleaning, what you want to do is make sure that you have your daily task, your weekly task, your monthly task, and your quarterly task. And if you want to do annual tasks like cleaning out the basement or something like that, you can add that to that as well. So what I do is I have a list on my wall of what my daily tasks are for that day, and I spread it out throughout 7 days a week so I'm not overwhelmed with doing everything every single day. And I just do the bathroom once a week, kitchen every single day. I do a load of laundry every single day as well, just to get it out of the way, because it can get overwhelming if you have to do laundry just once a week and it's on that Saturday or that Sunday, and it's just a mountain of dirty clothes that you just are overwhelmed with because it's going to take you 6 hours to do all the laundry. But that can be avoided if you just do one load every single day. When it comes to homeschooling, I only homeschool about 3 to 4 hours every single day. I did just finish the school year with my kids, so for the upcoming school year, I already have everything ready. I have to just finish a couple lesson plans for my second and third term. And so I did the first term, but I have to finish the majority of the school year still. But I have the summer to work on that until the school year starts. My plan is to have it finished before the school year even starts so that I can get all of that accomplished. And lastly, I just wanted to leave you with a few tips that were pretty helpful that I have discovered over the years that have helped me to make sure I'm managing my time and being most productive in the manner that I can. And that is when you're decluttering, you want to do this quarterly, and if you do, make sure you're doing it in 3 piles, things that are keep, sell, and throw away, and just organize your piles accordingly that way. Or if you want to give things away, you can give things away too if you don't want to sell them to like your local Salvation Army or Goodwill, or you could do a garage sale, things like that, just to make a little extra money. That would be cool. And I touched on creating a time schedule versus a block schedule. Those are 2 separate things that I have a video on that you can check out to see which one works best for you, and which one you want to use for your homeschool versus which one you want to use for your personal life or your lifestyle in general. And see, I suggest like trying different kinds to see which one works best for you, because you might think a time schedule is way too much and you're like, I can't do that, that's way too organized, but it might end up being what you need. You might need that extra structure because you might go a little bit too off on the rails on doing things that you want to do, or you get distracted very easily. So it might be good to try a time schedule if that's your case, or using a block schedule if you feel like you don't want a schedule that's too rigid and you need more free time. Next, I think it's good to resist distractions that are happening, and this is a really tough one, especially with the society that we live in, because there are so many distractions with our social media, notifications going off on our phone all the time, email, TV is a distraction, our own kids can be a distraction too as well, especially if you're trying to get something done with your kids all the time because you homeschool them, and then you're trying to separate that time from homeschooling to now I have to work from home, and to get that transition in there so that your kids are aware that they're not supposed to bother you during that time. I know it can be hard, especially when they're little, but that is something that is a little bit hard to get distractions out of the way. But if you can't control distractions at all, I suggest the phone, turning it off or putting it on silent when you are scheduled for homeschooling time, when you're supposed to be working on a certain task, and just schedule free time for yourself. That's something that I did add in my schedule. I scheduled free time for about 2 hours every day to just do anything that I wanted to do, and that can include scrolling. I could spend 2 hours scrolling on social media if I wanted to, or whatever, but I'm not spending countless hours doing it every day, and I'm not even aware of how much time I'm spending or wasting on my phone or watching television and getting stuck in a series that you just keep watching, like The Walking Dead or something that's really, really good that is binge worthy. Next, what I do is I do 1 load of laundry every single day. So even if it's a small load, just do a load of laundry every day so you don't have this huge mountain of clothes on Saturday when it's laundry day, and it's just so overwhelming that you don't even know where to start because there's just so much to do, and it's just too much. You don't want to overwhelm yourself because then you're not going to want to do it, and then you're going to dread having to do that task every single time. And I apologize for that sound, that scratching sound. That is my bearded dragon, and I can't get her to stop scratching her tank right now, and she really wants to come out, but I have to finish filming this and then I'll take her out. Next, make sure you're taking your vitamins, drinking water, sleeping 7 to 9 hours every single night, and eating enough calories every single day. Sometimes as moms we neglect ourselves because we're putting our family at the forefront and we're doing everything for them and we're just taking care of someone else the whole time, and we forget and neglect ourselves when it comes to those areas. But if you can ensure that you're doing that, you will have more energy throughout the day, you'll feel so much better, you have focused on nutrition better, and you will just feel better about yourself overall, and it will help a lot with your self-care. Taking 1 to 2 hours every single week to fill in your schedule, like a time schedule like I did mine. If you want to try that, go ahead and try it. And it shouldn't take you more than an hour, maybe 2 hours if your kids are distracting you, or if you're on your phone or you get distracted by phone calls or anything like that. It could take that up to 2 hours. However, if you do that and you get the notifications, oh, it's time to do this now, time to do laundry, you can just do what you have to do. And if you feel like you aren't setting a certain amount of time for what you have to do, then what you need to do is just make sure that you set things aside and know that you're only going to spend an hour, for example, decluttering the closet. And if you're not done after that hour, then you put things back where they belong and you finish it off on another day when you have it scheduled to finish decluttering the closet. It's the same with other tasks that you can do, and instead of spending countless hours, because it can become overwhelming, and then you get to a point where you're like, I don't even want to do this, like this is just too much, and it becomes this daunting task that just gives you a headache just thinking about it, and you don't want to feel like that. Nobody likes feeling like that. So if you give yourself a delegated task and you schedule a certain amount of time for that task, and once the timer's off, hands are off, that's the end of that task and on to the next thing, it's easier to not feel so overwhelmed doing just one thing and spending the entire day cleaning the kitchen, for example. If you just separate into sections and say, you're going to do the pantries on Wednesday, and then you're going to wipe down the cabinets on Tuesday, and you're going to clean out the fridge on Friday before you go grocery shopping. That's a good time to clean out the fridge, by the way. If you do it before you go grocery shopping, like the day before or a couple hours before, and then you can really see how much stuff you actually need to have, how much you want to have, and what you should actually be getting. That's my little tip. Lastly, don't feel guilty asking for help, because we all need help. We're human. We are not perfect. I'm not perfect. I mess up sometimes. There's things that I don't do perfectly inside of my time schedule. I don't always get everything right exactly when, but these are just suggestions that I have. And if you would like to, just try the time schedule, try the block schedule, check out my video on that, and leave in the comment section what you do to stay organized as a stay-at-home mom and what works for you in homeschooling, if you use a time schedule or a block schedule, and any of these tips that you want to implement into your lifestyle. And I will see you guys in the next video. Until next time, bye guys!